If you're caring for an aging loved one, you are not alone. Millions of Americans find themselves in that very role and are dealing with everything from health to legal and financial matters, all while juggling their own work and family obligations. Amy Goyer is a nationally known AARP caregiving expert and the author of Juggling Work and Caregiving. She joins us here on Connecticut Style. Thanks so much for being here. Amy, this is a topic a lot of people can relate to. I know there was a survey just released and the results were kind of surprising.
Yeah, you know, AARP Connecticut did a survey of residents over the age of 40, and they found that more than half have either been caregiving in the past or are currently doing so for older loved ones, people with disabilities, and 70% said that they anticipate they'll be doing so in the future.
Wow,
so
that's
this is
a
an
huge
issue.
number.
It's everybody. It really affects everyone.
Amy, who is the typical caregiver?
The typical caregiver in Connecticut is a 50-year-old woman who's married, and in fact about half are working. So they are doing this juggling of work and caregiving. We found that about 15% have taken more than a week off work for caregiving duties too.
Well, it's almost another full-time job, it seems like, right?
It is. You know, nationally we find that the typical caregiver is spending at least 20 hours a week. So when you think about that, it really is a whole nother job.
And you have experience firsthand. You cared for both your parents.
I do, yes. For the past 5 years, I've been really intensively caregiving for both my parents. My mom just passed away about 8 months ago, and my dad, who has Alzheimer's, is still living with me.
We have a picture up there on the screen of
there
you
they
three.
are. Yes.
What would you say are the biggest challenges when it comes to caretaking?
You know, I think there are so many challenges that caregivers face. One of them is dealing with hospitalizations. I know I've spent probably 50 nights in the hospital with my parents over the years. My dad came home once with a feeding tube for 2 months, and I got about 5 minutes of training on how to deal with that. So I think caregivers really need a lot more support around and training around the tasks of caregiving. They're doing a lot of medical caregiving, things that nurses would cringe at sometimes.
Sure.
And the survey that AARP Connecticut did found that really Connecticut residents are in favor of requiring hospitals to provide more training and more support and connection with the caregivers.
Any advice for caregivers? Because I'm sure at times it could be very frustrating.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. I think the number one thing, first of all, is to get help. We have a lot of
okay to get
resources.
help, right?
It's okay to get help. I get help. I've worked in the field of aging for 30 years, but this is still hard for me. So, you get help in the form of other caregivers, volunteers, family members, but also in terms of resources and information. And you got to get support for yourself. You have to take care of yourself, or you can't take care of someone else.
That's true.
And you might go to a support group, or you might keep a list of 5 things you can do in 5 minutes, like getting a cup of coffee or taking a walk or calling a friend. Those are the most important things to do.
Right. Your book is available online, and you recommend getting it right now.
Yeah, it's an ebook, and right now it's a free download at aarp.org/caregivingbook.
And what will we learn from the book?
We go through everything in the book, from assessing the situation and doing planning to dealing with health issues, finances, legal issues, housing. Does your loved one live at home or in a facility? And then even grief and loss and life after caregiving.
Sure. And in addition to the book, you also have a blog. You were saying how you just were blogging about your dad on Father's Day.
Yeah, I didn't get to be with my dad on Father's Day, so I wrote a blog post about how that felt. And I blog about my ongoing caregiving experiences, as well as interesting news and things that come out for caregivers.
And something else we should also mention this summer, that AARP is going to be hosting a number of caregiver kind of workshops that people can attend.
Well, we're doing some events this week while I'm in Connecticut, which I'm excited about. And AARP is going to be doing some listening sessions. They want to hear from caregivers about what the challenges are, and they're going to be preparing some thoughts for what they may be doing next year in the legislative session.
But really, just before we close here, reiterate how it's okay to get that help, how you're not alone. I mean, we saw the statistics in the beginning that a lot of people are taking on this role.
Many caregivers are isolated and often are working alone, but there is support. And you're actually doing your loved ones a favor by getting help and getting support and taking care of yourself, because you're going to do a better job taking care of them.
That makes
so
sense.
Don't feel bad about it.
Very good, Amy. Thank you for being here. And for more information on the AARP Caregiving Resource Center, go to aarp.org/caregiving or call the phone number on your screen, which is 1-877-333-5885. You'll find everything you need there.